We have a decodable reading scheme that runs alongside the programme. It's very important that the readers the children are given are decodable, which basically means that the children are able to read the words to decode them and work them out. There's no point teaching a child how to decode words and to blend them and segment them and then give them a book that doesn't have those sorts of words in it and let them guess, because if they get into the habit of guessing, it's not good and it's a very bad habit and they won't become independent and fluent readers. So what the decodable readers do is exactly the same as what our programme does in effect. It takes children through a little bit at a time, giving them words and sentences with that they can read for themselves. So the first set of readers that we have, or we used to have, was the red set, which had the 42 letter sounds that we teach, plus a few tricky words. However, as time has gone on, we have got some others now, because we had the word boxes which came out of the handbook. But instead of those, you can now have the little word books, which is, like I say, just got words in. The words are such that the picture is on the page somewhere, but not necessarily next to the words, so you can start bringing in an element of comprehension right from the beginning. They also revise all the letter sounds, and then they also have some words for segmenting with the sound dots underneath, so that the children can practice saying the sounds as well. We then have the orange readers, which are they build up. They start off with the first few letter sounds in it, and then they build up to the 42 that we have, and they just have a few tricky words in, and they have sort of phrases or sentences. Then we move up to our old faithful red readers that have been there for the whole time, and they have roughly one sentence to a page, and as I say, just the 42 sounds and the first 10 tricky words. We then move up to the yellow readers. Now, all the core readers in all of the colours have three different groups. They have phonic, which are non-fiction titles. They have inky, which is Inky Mouse and her friends, and the Vowel Forest. And then we also have snake, which are traditional tales, other stories. And within the main body, within there's 18 at each level of those ones, we make sure we cover all the sounds that we need to, and the sound alternatives that we need to, and the tricky words that are meant to be there. So the yellow readers have the Y saying E at the end of the word added to them, and a few more tricky words, and they're about 2 or 3 sentences to a page. We then move up to the green level readers. And again, we start introducing the hop over E in those ones, and some more tricky words and slightly more text. We then go up to the green readers, which has like the hours, the OW as O and OW, and various other things like that. They are all listed in the books, on the front of the books. They've got on the inside page, they have all the tricky words that are used within that particular level, and all the sounds that the children are supposed to know. And then our blue level readers, again, more alternatives, more tricky words. And not that long ago, we brought out our purple level readers, which then cover all the alternatives that we have within the Jolly Phonics Handbook in Year 1 and Year 2, and the rest of the tricky words. And they've got a lot more text in them. Couple of years ago now, we brought out the Our World series, which run alongside all of those. And the Our World have got photos in them. Again, they're slightly more updated looking with, say, photos for the pictures. And they're all non-fiction titles. And they are interesting because actually they do have a pronunciation guide in them. Now, in our main readers, if we have a word that's not pronounced, like the K in knock, then we'll have it as a faint letter. The same with E on the end of a word like sneeze. But in the Our World readers, we actually have a pronunciation guide which we use only where it's really necessary. But if there is a word, because they're a non-fiction subject, that we really need, then we will have the pronunciation guide next to that word, where you have the slash. And we use the original digraphs that we had for introducing the sounds to the children, to show them how it's pronounced. Plus, I think we have a symbol for the schwa sound, which is the most common vowel sound in English and can be any of the vowels, the vowel alternatives. Makes English very, very complicated, but all that's in there. So you could have a word like Australia, which technically shouldn't be within the decodable reader, but by using that pronunciation guide, then the children can work out what the word is. That means that they can have words that they may find a little bit more difficult to tackle, but it gives them a way of doing it, and also we'll lead them into pronunciation guides in the dictionary, and when looking at other dictionaries, other works, and when they get older. So it's quite an interesting little adaptation, but that's just in the Our World readers. So we're hoping to bring out more readers as we go, because obviously at the beginning the children just need lots and lots and lots of practice of reading books that they are able to. We have 18 books per level, plus the Our World ones now, which is quite honestly not really enough for each level, and we are working on bringing out more. But having said that as well, I mean, all schools have got library with books in, they've got resources that are already there, and obviously we don't want to throw those out, they've had money spent on them. But what you have to do is have a look at those books and look at where they fit within, the decodable scheme. So, do they use words with particular letter sounds in? Where does that go in the scheme? Or do they have lots of tricky words or non-decodable words? So you will just need to work out whereabouts the books that you already have will fit in with the scheme. And sometimes it's not about the amount of text in it. You can have some quite large amounts of text, but they are quite phonically regular and the children can cope with them. And you can have books with just perhaps a couple of sentences to a page, but quite tricky text and words in them. So you just have to work it out and fit them as best you can within the scheme that is there. As they go up, that does become less important. By the time they get to sort of green and purple level, to be honest, they can then probably cope with most age-appropriate books that they are likely to want to read. They will be able to make analogy and use the knowledge that they already know to sort of perhaps fill in the word comprehension. So by the time you get up to that sort of level, it's less important, but certainly in the lower levels and earlier on, just make sure that any books that you're supplementing our scheme with do actually fit within the criteria that are set out.